We're visiting today on the Costigan farm here in eastern Franklin County in the Schweitzer community. The Franklin County Farm City Field Day will be held on this farm this year, and we're the guests today of the Costigan family. We have Buddy Costigan here, his wife Jean, his daughter Jan, and his son Jimmy. The Costigans have a 340-acre operation here in this community, which is very typical of what we find in much of central Kentucky. The soils are mostly, for they all formed from deep limestones, and we have here a shot of the soils that we'll be working with during the field day. Very typical of the central Kentucky soils is this Maury soil here, this deep, well-drained red soil which you find, which on this farm is the most productive soil unit. On some of the side slopes we have this low-oil soil which has more clay in it than does the Maury soil, but which can be a very productive soil. And then the little creek bottoms that we have, the typical soil profile that's found in them is the Martin-Gatton Silt Loam, but we have very little of it on this particular operation. And then on some of the slopes here we have the Faywood soil, which again is a good productive soil, but where the slopes pick up we find bedrock occurring at a fairly shallow depth. So let's move over into the field now and see what some of the crops look like that are growing on these soils. The Maury soil is one of our more productive central Kentucky soils. In growing tobacco on this soil, with all of the nitrogen that's being used today, one of the problems that we're getting into is what we see here today. Al Wallace of the UK Department of Agronomy is going to tell us what we're seeing here in the field.
This is a molybdenum study. We've used 3 different rates of molybdenum in the setter water and a check plot. And we're looking here at these 2 rows that received only water. The yellow coloring of the plants here, which apparently is a deficiency, and then the untreated, the treated plots over here.
Okay, now let's look at what corn does on Maury soil. One of the problems sometimes found by corn growers on the Maury Silt Loam here in central Kentucky in this high phosphate soil is zinc deficiency, which we see in this corn crop here. This is brought on by the high phosphate content of the soil, which triggered by the application of high amounts of lime. So the high pH and the high phosphate soil sometimes bring on what we see. Besides the leaf striping, we quite commonly find this purpling of the nodes in the corn stalks. We have a test here that we're seeing in the background where we have sprayed zinc foliar application onto the corn in order to correct the deficiency.